Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवांसस्तनूभिर्व्यसेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have already explained Shanti mantra. Now we are dealing with this second mantra. We already started. Sarvam Hyetad Brahma Ayam Atma Brahma Soyam Atma Chadushpat. We have already explained, but just I want to remind you a few important points. In the first mantra, the Upanishad tells us, Idam sarvam omiti etat aksharam. All that you see around you, the entire cosmic phenomena that you can see and experience, sarvam, all this, is the Brahman, the Supreme Reality itself. That means what you see around you as world, as Jagat, that is Brahman itself at the macro level, the macrocosm. All that you see around is the Supreme Reality. The second mantra makes an assertion that Supreme Reality is within you. Ayam Atma Brahma. That reality which expresses itself as the macrocosm, the external phenomena, the rivers, the mountains, the oceans, valleys, everything that you can think of, that you see with your eyes, that you hear with your ears, that you pursue through the five senses and mind, that you can think of, that you can contemplate on. All this is the Supreme Reality, the Brahman itself. At the macro level, that means macrocosm is Brahman. The second mantra says that Brahman is I am, pointing the finger to our own inner self. The Upanishad tells us, this Supreme Reality is within you. So, the second mantra, in a way, is the source of a very important statement in Swami Vivekananda's complete works. Swamiji says, the macrocosm and microcosm are built on the same plan. Whatever within us we have finds its expression outside. Outside in Sanskrit, it's like in the samashti, means at the macro level, at the universalistic level. That reality expresses itself as the entire visible phenomena. And the same reality, which is omnipresent, is also immanent. It is within our own inner self. That means the entire creation, all that you can think of is one Supreme Reality. The unity or oneness of the Supreme Reality is explained here. Now, a very important technical point, which is very important in Advaita philosophy, I wanted to emphasize in this context. Very often, in the philosophical tradition, we use the word monism. Advaita or monism is called. Shankaracharya's philosophy is very often called monistic philosophy. In contrast to monotheism. In monotheism, we project one supreme God with certain characteristics, who creates this world, creates all human beings, and sits apart from this world, supervising his creation. A personal God. Now, in monastic tradition, generally speaking, in the philosophical tradition, we formulate a supreme reality as the formless, impersonal, supreme principle. And we use the term monism. But to be more precise, in Vedantic tradition, a more acceptable term is non-dualism. It is not monism. So, in all philosophical works, Advaitins use the term ekameva Advaitam. Ekameva means the supreme reality is one. It is non-dual. They don't use the word one. It is one, but along with that, another term is used, non-dual. The reason is this. If you use the word monism, ekam, it can imply indirectly a possible existence of plurality or duality. If you use the word one, it has got a correlative, two, etc. If you say this is the unity of all, this is one unified whole, it can always, indirectly, it can have a correlative, the possibility of plurality or duality. So in order to philosophically rule out the possibility of duality even as an idea, Advaitin philosophers use the word ekameva advitiyam, means one without a second, which is called non-dualism. Now, what this Upanishad tells us is this: what you experience outside as the totality of visible phenomena, which is macrocosm, is not different from what resides within all living beings as the inner essence, as the immanent reality, which is microcosm. So, ayam atma brahma, soyam atma chaduspad. Here again you find saha ayam atma chaduspad, these particular terms. That reality, which was explained earlier, see the first mantra tells us, Omiti etut aksharamidam sarvam tasya upavyakyanam bhudam bhavat bhavishyat iti sarvam onkar eva yaccha anyat trikalatidam tadapi onkar eva. What the mantra tells is this: what is within time, space and causation, what is relative, what is experienced within the realm of relative, within the jurisdiction of time, space and causation, which comes into existence sometime in the past, which continues to exist and vanishes sometime in future, which belongs to time, that is trikala adhinam, within time, space and causation, that is Brahman. And what lies beyond time, space and causation, trikala atitam, that is also Brahman. This assertion was made. In the second mantra, the Upanishad tells us that reality which has been explained in the first mantra, saha, means that reality. Ayam atma chaduspad. That reality is ayam. Ayam means you have to find out. In Sanskrit language, if you say ayam ghataha, means this is a pot, then you actually are referring to something which exists in front of you. So the Upanishad points its finger at you, at all of us, and tells us that the supreme reality, which is Brahman, which is the absolute reality, which is within time, space and causation, and which is beyond time, space and causation, it is this Atma, inner essence, is the Brahman itself. That we have already dealt with in the previous class. Now it says Chaduspad. Chaduspad actually means It consists of 4 quarters. It has got 4 quarters. Each quarter is a 1/4. We have already explained in the previous context the 3 states of human experience: the waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. The Atman or Brahman, which is the omnipresent principle, which is transcendent principle, and which is immanent in every living being, experiences the external phenomena in waking state. It's called Jagra state. So it is a witness of all experiences during Jagra states. So this Atman, which will be called as Turiya in the coming pages, is seated in waking state within us. It is that reality which is associated with Atman, which is seated within all of us. It is called Vishwa. So the Atman, which is the witness, the experiencer, the seer, which is experiencing all this during waking state, is called Vishwa. That is the first quarter. The first quarter. And the Upanishad later will explain it equates with the first letter of Omkara, that is A. That will deal with that later. So what are these 4 quarters that I shall explain? The first quarter is A, which is the first of the 3 quarters which constitutes Omkara. Omkara is equated, is taken as a symbol. Remember, Omkara, Om, Pranava is not Brahman. That should be understood very clearly. Brahman is the eternal witness which experiences all this during dream state, waking state, that is waking state, and also deep sleep state. That is the supreme reality. But from a philosophical point of view, this supreme reality is explained with the help of a symbol. And the symbol is called Pranava or Omkara in Sanskrit language. Remember, it's only a symbol. One should never get away with the impression that Brahman is Omkara, that sign that you find in any name boards, you find Omkara or Pranava. It is not supreme reality. It is only a symbol that is used in Upanishadic terminology. In many Upanishads, and especially in the Mandukya method, it's called the Mandukya approach towards philosophical analysis. So, this supreme reality, which is omnipresent, omniscient, and transcendent, and immanent, experiences all these waking state experiences, waking state phenomena. And then at that stage, in waking state, it is called Vishwa. So it is a drashta, it is a witness, it is a seer of all waking state experiences. But as I said earlier, we have another level of experience which is called dream. In dream, the same reality, the self, which is identified, which actually the Chaitanya, the supreme reality itself, is called Taijasa. There is a reason for this. Taijasa is something related to Tejaha, means light. In waking state, we can have all these experiences. It is gross experience. So you can walk through the street, sunlight is visible. In dream also you walk through the streets of San Francisco. Maybe, and sunlight is visible. But where does the sunlight come from? Your eyes are closed and it is pitch darkness all around. Still you find yourself walking in the streets of San Francisco in dream. And you can also have all the experiences. There, the memories which we have collected during waking state are projected at the mental level. The light which projects all days waking state experiences comes from mind. So in that sense it is called Taijasaha. As I said last time, memory also functions in the same manner. Human memory. In the Bhashya, Shankara's commentary, Shankara explained this in a very graphic style. Memory and recollection both are very similar to dream. You just, in front of you, you see a picture. Then you close your eyes. Then also you can see the picture. But there is a difference. When you close your eyes, when you see the picture, you are not seeing the picture with your eyes. You are seeing the picture with your mind. In Sanskrit it's called Chittam. It is an internal experience, subtle experience. So that's why dream experiences are subtle, because senses of perception like ears, eyes, etc. are not involved. So this is recollection. Memory also. You may listen to a song this morning. After 1 week, if you have a good memory, when you try to practice the song, you find you can sing as the musician was singing on the stage. Because at the mental level, you are hearing that song. That's why you are able to practice it again. Even in fact, cognition is possible, perception is possible, recollection is possible only because of memory. This memory and forgetting, they play very important and sometimes creative, sometimes destructive role in human life. Forgetting and memory, remember. If we remember everything, we can never live in this world. Suppose a young man or a child has to go through some terrible difficulties in his future life. If he undergoes all these problems, and then he always remembers all the traumatic experiences, unpleasant experiences, he will not be able to enjoy peace of mind. So the forgetting plays a very important role in human life. At the same time, without memory, human life is also not possible. Without memory, you can never learn anything. We can never remember anything. No human life is possible. So, memory plays a very important role, and this memory is equated with dream experience by Advaitic philosophers. Now, in dream what happens is, whatever we experience in waking state, we relive, we re-experience at the subtle level. Every dream experience has got some connection with waking state experience, as I said last time. But they are not identical. There are differences, as I said, Desha Bheda, Kala Bheda, and Sukshma Sthula Bheda. I mean, there is difference with regard to time. In dream, it takes only split second for you to travel thousands of kilometers. In waking state, it takes maybe several hours. And when you are waking, you are living in waking state, you go to sleep in one place and you dream yourself living somewhere else. So there is difference with regard to space, and also there is a difference with regard to grossness and subtlety. Dream experiences are subtle and waking state experience grows. Now, the Upanishad tells us that this Atman is present as drashta or as witness in dream state. And then it is called Taijasa. Again, the same Atman, which will be called Turiya later, is present in deep sleep state. Deep sleep state means Sushupti state. So, when it enjoys Sushupti, it is called Prajnaha. Prajnaha, in a way, it is called Prayena Ajnaha. There is a technical point with regard to the word Prajnaha. Means, in dream and waking stage, we are aware of what we experience at the time of experiencing. In deep sleep state, we are not aware of our experience when we are experiencing it. We feel that we had a very good sleep only when we return to waking state. So there is an element of ignorance associated with deep sleep state. Another difference is in deep sleep, there is a kind of clouded unity of experience. There is no plurality in deep sleep state. But in dream and waking experiences, there is plurality. You can see houses, trees, mountains, valleys, different living beings in dream and also waking state experiences. But in deep sleep, there is a clouded, that is Ghanibhuta, Upanishad will tell later. There is a clouded, darkened, compact unity of all experiences. But and as a result of this, we forget. In deep sleep or in Sushupti, we don't have the experience of duality. But we don't transcend duality. Rather, what happens? Our senses of perception are benumbed. They are not able to experience anything in deep sleep at the time of experiencing. Experience is there because this same Turiya is present in deep sleep also. That's why after Sushupti, after deep sleep, when we wake up, we feel that we had a good rest, we had a good sleep. This feeling of relaxation, tranquility, is a clear indication of the fact that same Atman, Turiya, which is present in waking state and also in dream state, was also present in deep sleep state. Otherwise, we won't be able to recollect a feeling of relaxation and tranquility when we wake up. Now, these are the three quarters. Now, the fourth quarter is Turiya. But there is a fundamental difference. Shankaracharya makes a very important point in this analysis of this Chatuspath. That means this Atma, this Turiya, consists of four quarters. And he gives an example. You know, four quarters is, let us say, the four legs of an elephant. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each is separate from the other. Now, Shankaracharya would say it is not like that. Then there is another quarter. Say, let us think of one coin. Say, well, a single coin, at least, you know, in the commentary on this Karika, Shankaracharya used the word Karshapanam. Let us say, I will, for your convenience, I shall say $1 coin. Maybe there, I don't know if this coin exists or not. Let us assume there is a $1 coin, let us say. Now, and also there is a quarter coin, half coin, and 3/4 of a dollar coin. To understand, I'm trying to translate Karshapana, which is used in Shankara's commentary, written in 8th century, mind you. I'm trying to put it in modern terminology. Suppose there is a single coin for $1, and also there are smaller coins, 1/4 of a dollar, half a dollar, and 3/4 of a dollar. Now, one-fourth of it, if you place $half one coin and one-fourth of $1 coin, you can say the one-fourth merges in $half coin. And $half and one-fourth of $1 merge in single dollar coin. Similarly, waking state merges with dream state. And dream and waking state experiences merge in deep sleep state. And all the three states merge in Turiya state, and Turiya, the fourth state, goes beyond all this. That is the state of the experience that we are the Atman, that I am the Atman, which is transcendent, immanent, omniscient, and omnipresent. So, this is a point which Bhashyakara makes very clearly. Each of the states merges with in the succeeding state. The reason is this: our experience begins with waking state, and our dream state experiences are both related and also unrelated with waking state experience. As I said last time, we can never have a dream experience which is completely different from waking state experiences. Though there are differences, I already outlined 3 types of differences between dream state and also waking state experiences. But at the same time, every dream state experience is one way or other related to waking state experience. If somebody argues, well, I had a dream which is in no way connected with any of my past waking state experiences, then Vedanta would tell you it may have some connection with your experience in previous life. That's why, some people can never stand for a moment any discussion on high Vedantic philosophy. It is impossible. Some people can never even bear to sit and patiently listen to any spiritual religious ideas. And there are some people who can never withstand discussion on mundane worldly topics. 2 extremes you find. It is not genetic. Maybe in the same family there may be 5 brothers, children of the same parents, with 5 entirely different characteristics. So, there are genetic factors, there are of course inherited factors, but there are also certain essential characteristics that we inherit from previous life. That's what Vedanta would tell you. Because we cannot help behaving in a particular manner. There are certain methods and manners in which we invariably behave in a particular manner. These are all characteristics which are related to our previous life and which actually constitute the subtle part of our character. The subtle, the unchanging, the changeless aspect of our character. Now, Chaturspad. So, these 4 quarters. These 4 quarters are the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state, and also the transcendental state which is called Turiya. So, in a way, the Turiya is not the 4th state. It is used, that particular term is used, as I said last time, in the days when Upanishads evolved, philosophy was highly evolved, but language was still in its stage of infancy. So very often there is a limitation of language in expressing high philosophical truths. So it's called, it is stated here, it is a fourth state. Fourth state means it's the state which contains all the other three states, but also goes beyond it. Because it is that turiya which is present in waking state, in dream state, and also in deep sleep state. That's why it is said, Vishwa, that is the experiencer of dream, the experiencer of waking state, merges with Taijasa, the experiencer of dream state. And both merge in Prajna, the experiencer of deep sleep or Sushupti state. And all the three merge in Turiya, and Turiya goes beyond all this. That's second mantra. Now, third mantra is going to explain in a more graphic manner the point which I made in the beginning, that is the unity of macrocosm and microcosm. Swamiji, I said, Swamiji had a wonderful experience when he was traveling through the Himalayas, Swami Vivekananda. And near Almora somewhere there was a big banyan tree, and he sat under it, and he had a mystical experience. He felt that every single unseen, subtle element, you may call molecule, or still going further down, we can say the smallest atom or molecule, whatever it is. And also the entire cosmic phenomena, the macrocosm, both are built on the same plan. This is a statement which Swamiji makes. That idea originates from the verse which I am going to take right now. That is this Jagrida sthano bahishprajnaha saptanga ekona vimshadi mukhaha sthula bhuk vaishwanaraha prathama padaha. This is the third mantra. So, how these four quarters are located, that is being explained here. So, these four quarters, they indicate Atman, and is the explanation. The first quarter is Vaishwanara. So, Vaishwanara is the universal in human form, the pure consciousness, when it is associated with the gross bodies of creation. As the totality of experiences as objects, it's called Vaishwanara or Virat, the cosmic phenomena. That is Drishyam, what is seen. And as a seer, the experiencer is called Vishwa. Now, I shall just, what I am going to explain later, I shall indicate at this stage. That will make you give a better picture as to how the Upanishads is trying to establish the unity of macrocosm and microcosm. I already explained that whatever we experience in waking states merges with the experiences of dream states, and both merge in the experience of Sushupti or dreamless sleep state, and all the three merge into Turiya. Again, so this with regard to objects, what called Drishya, whatever is experienced. So whatever is experienced, or whatever we experience in waking, dream and dreamless sleep state, they merge into Turiya. Again, the experiencer, the seer, the witness as Vishwa, the self, the Atman which is seated within every living being, which experiences waking state experiences, merges in Prajna, which is a witness of dream state, and both again merge in the seer, the witness of Sushupti state, It's called prajna, and all the three merge in the witness as turiya in the transcendental state. So there is a unity not only at vertical level but also the horizontal level. The Upanishad ultimately wants to tell you that the entire existence is one reality. This one may argue, why can't the Upanishad straight away make a statement? Well, the whole creation is one, whole existence is one. That is true. For a highly evolved soul who is not tempted by the plurality of duality of experiences, this is enough. The reality is one. You remember the history in the life of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. His teacher, the great teacher Totapuri, Advaita teacher, who experienced this supreme reality, who had this Advaitic experience as a result of nearly 40 years of spiritual practices on the banks of Narmada in India. That great Advaitic teacher came to the Dakshineshwar where Sri Ramakrishna was living. So he found that this young man is an extremely fit spiritual aspirant because he is not at all interested in the duality or plurality of in the manifold worldly phenomena. His natural tendency is to contemplate on that supreme transcendental reality. But he had not undergone any formal training in Advaitic or non-dualistic spiritual practices. So Totapuri, this great teacher, comes to Sri Ramakrishna and he trained him. The moment he uttered Tattwamasi, the Mahavakya, Tattwamasi, there are 4 important statements in the Vedic literature, in the Upanishad literature, which I already explained last time. These are called Mahavakyas or great statements. Tattwamasi occurs in Chandogya Upanishad, belonging to Samaveda. Aham Brahmasmi, it occurs in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which belongs to Yajurveda. Ayamatma Brahma, which we are studying now, it occurs in Mandukya Upanishad, which belongs to Atharvaveda. And Prajnanam Brahma, which is found in Aitareya Upanishad, it belongs to Rigveda. Now, when a teacher instructs his student, Tattwamasi, that Brahman, that reality is yourself. This is explained in a long dialogue in Chandogya Upanishad, 6th chapter. Long chapter. The essence of the chapter is this. The teacher, Uddalaka, instructs his disciple. But they are both father and son. Uddalaka is the father, Shvetaketu is the son and also disciple. The father teaches the son, Tattwamasi, you are that supreme reality. This is the instruction. It is spread over a long chapter with so many sections. Now, Totapuri, the great Advaitic teacher, taught Sri Ramakrishna. The moment Totapuri uttered this mystic mantra, Sri Ramakrishna realized, immediately he got the spiritual experience. Because Sri Ramakrishna's mind was so pure, it was naturally God-oriented. It was established at a transcendental plane. So Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa immediately got that mystical experience. The moment teacher uttered this mantra, Tattwamasi, immediately he realized, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that supreme Brahman. But for an ordinary aspirant, this will not work. For an ordinary aspirant, for an ordinary spiritual student, he is under the strong conviction that Brahma Mithya Jagat Satyam. That is the normal conviction of any ordinary man. World is real, God is an illusion. This is the normal conviction. I don't say intellectual conviction, but this is the plane in which the mind of an ordinary person works. Because he is convinced of the reality of the dualistic experience, the pluralistic experience. So, first of all, his mind should be drawn away from plurality, and slowly it should be diverted inward, and then slowly the teacher has to take him stage by stage to a philosophical conviction and then to the level of mystical experience. Therefore, the Upanishads, first of all, ask you to look around the world and to look at yourself and then see the unity between the totality of microcosm and the totality of macrocosm. So that should be understood. We'll explain this. Jagridasthano Bhishprajnaka. Now, the first quarter is Vaishwanara. That is explained here. Now, Vaishwanara functions at the waking state, at the gross level, and it is conscious of the external objects. Because it's related to waking state. During waking state, we naturally experience external visible objects. And this Vaishwanara has got 7 limbs. We will explain this. 7 limbs. How we normally interact with the external phenomena. We see with our eyes, we hear with our ears, and so on. So how we normally interact or come in contact with the external phenomena during the waking states. So this mantra says, the first quarter, which is Vaishwanara, which is related to waking states and who is conscious of external objects, the plurality of phenomena, has got 7 limbs and 19 mouths and experiences gross objects. This is the mantra. I shall explain one after another. Now first I shall explain the 7 limbs, that is Saptangaha. You can find in the mantra, Saptangaha, mean the one who has got 7 limbs. 2 words are used in this mantra, Saptangaha. This Vaishwanara, the one who the experiencer of waking states, the experiencer of these external objects, has got 7 limbs and 19 mouths. Ekona vimshati mukha. Ekona vimshati means 19. Mukha means mouths. It may appear a bit puzzling, but it is a very simple, and it not only that, it is not philosophy, it's a matter of human experience. In Vedanta, one interesting point is, Vedanta is not explaining anything other than yourself. It just tells you what you are. It explains to us what we are. So, the language may be somewhat complex. The moment we understand it, it is very simple because it explains our own inner reality. Now, 7 limbs of the Saptanga. This particular portion of this Upanishad is based on one well-known verse in Mandukya Upanishad. I shall explain it later. But what are the 7 limbs? One is head. Head is the celestial region. Mean the higher regions. Let us say this, what we call heavens, celestial regions above. You think of the entire cosmos. On the one hand, you can find within us this experiencer is there. It is Vishwa at the micro level. And that reality has got a counterpart at the macro level. That's why it's stated here. So it has got 7 limbs. One is head, and head is the effulgent, the transcendental region, celestial regions. What is the eye? Eye is the sun. If you see with your eyes, and if the eye is the instrument through which you see the objects around you, then for the cosmic person, what is the eye? Surya, or the sun, is the eye, because sun is symbolic of light. In fact, the function of eye is to see. The very idea of seeing is related to the existence of sun. So, if head is the higher region of the individual, at the micro level, then the celestial regions is the head of the cosmic person at the macro level. Remember Swamiji's statement, macrocosm and microcosm are built on the same plane. Whatever you have got within is nothing but a miniature of the entire cosmic phenomena. That's right. So we have head at the micro level, and for the cosmic person, what is the head? The celestial regions. We have the eyes with which you see, and for the cosmic person, the eye is the sun. Again, we breathe, what we call in Sanskrit is called prana, which has got 5 functions. That's what keeps the body intact. For the cosmic person, that prana, the breath, is air. Again, we have this middle part of the body. For the cosmic person, at the macro level, it is akasha, the ether. And then for the individual person, his kidney is there. For the cosmic person, it is the water principle. Now, these are then Ahavaniya Agni stated here. That is a particular fire. Remember, these are all symbols. You have to remember. Symbols. Well, you may ask the question, but the entire human body is not mentioned here. These 7 limbs are mentioned in a symbolic way. What the Upanishad wants to tell you is this. Whatever we have got within this simple miniature human body is nothing but a miniaturization, is a small addition of the entire cosmic phenomena. That's what the Upanishad wants to tell you. Now, Ahavaniya Agni is mentioned here, means it's a ritual, it's a fire. Now, that is his mouth. Now, this is the symbolic presentation of the unity of macrocosm and microcosm. Now, that's why when a spiritually enlightened man gets this kind of mystical experience, the most fundamental characteristic that you find in him is that he looks at the entire creation as one. In all Vedantic literature, you find there are characteristics mentioned of highly evolved spiritual personalities. But one common characteristic, whether he is a devotee, bhakta, jnani, anybody who just steps outside the formalistic religion, the mechanistic religion, and who gets a flash of that mystical, spiritual experience, the first characteristic that comes to him naturally is the ability to see the entire humanity as one spiritual family. What he experiences is nothing but the unity of macrocosm and microcosm. In fact, we cannot actually explain in totality the characteristics of a man of this high mystical experience. We cannot explain, because he becomes as inexplicable as the experience itself. But one important characteristic that is mentioned in all Vedantic literature, even in the great Bhakti literature, is the moment you steps out of formalistic religion, the moment you realize that that God in his highest dimension is one supreme principle who is omnipresent, omniscient, and transcendent and immanent. The moment you realize that truth is, the moment you realize, you get a flash of that truth, you become broad-minded. You start looking at the entire humanity as one spiritual entity. I can explain this before going further. I can drive home this point. What really happens to a man who experiences this? The unity of macrocosm and microcosm. In the Bhagavata Purana, it's a famous devotional work, there is a description of 3 types of devotees. 3 types of people who take to spiritual life. The most primitive, and those who are slightly advanced, and those who reach the highest level of God consciousness. I won't go into the first 2 levels, but the Purana tells us what exactly happens to a man who realizes, who reaches this level of mystical unity. Sarva bhudeshu pasyed bhagavad bhavam atmanaha bhutani bhagavadi atmani esha bhagavadottamah. This is the Sanskrit verse. I shall explain in English. Such a person, the one who reaches the highest mystical experience of devotion, Bhagavadottamah, means he is the noblest type of devotee. He experiences the presence of God in all living beings, and he experiences the presence of all living beings in God. He experiences the presence of God, the spark of the divine principle in all living beings, and he experiences the presence of all living beings in God. This idea of unity is the central principle of all mystical experiences. Now, the Upanishad uses another technical term, ekona vimshati mukhaha. That also I shall explain further. Now, that Vaishwanara, the cosmic person, has got 19 mouths. These 19 mouths are explained here. Here, we have to remember, Saptanga refers to the cosmic person, because just as a man has got eyes with which he sees external objects, the cosmic person has got sun. Just as he has got his head, the cosmic person has got the celestial regions. Just as a man at the micro level, he has got breath, the cosmic person has got air, and so on. Now, these 19 mouths are related to the 19 parts of an individual. That's being explained here. Which are these 19 mouths? Because it is through these 19 mouths that he understands, interacts with the external world. These are 5 organs of perception. Now, 5 organs of perception are this. For example, see, sight, the organs of sight, sound, smell, taste, and mouth. These are the 5 organs of perception. So 5 I already got. Again, 5 organs of action. 5 organs of action are hands, feet, then organs of speech, generation, and evacuation. These are the 5 organs of action. And again, the 5 aspects of prana means vital breath. 5 aspects of prana. Bisku prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. According to Hindu tradition, the prana, the air, the energy which operates and activates the human body functions at 5 different levels. So so total we have got 5. 5 plus 5, total 15. That is, first 5 senses of perception, pancha jnanendriyas or buddhindriyas, then 5 senses of action, karmendriyas, then 5 dimensions, 5 levels of breath, pancha prana. So total 15. Then there are 4 more. One is mana, buddhi, chitta, and ahankara. These are the 4 which together constitute what is called antakarana. Now here I can just mention, normally a human being has got these first 15 factors, and they are guided by 4 important factors: mana, buddhi, chitta, and ahankara. Let us, in modern English, let's say these are the 4 levels of human impressions. The Vedantic text explains this in a very simple manner. If suppose you see an object in front of you from a distance, you are not sure what that object is. In front of you, if you see a pillar in semi-darkness, when there is not enough light, you may be confused whether it's a figure of a man or a pillar. At that stage, your mind is functioning. Your impressions are functioning at the mental level. When you approach the objects and when you are convinced that when you use a torch, if you are convinced that it is just a pillar, not a human being, not the figure of a human being, then your buddhi, intellect functions, because you come to a definite conclusion that it is a pillar, not the figure of a human being. Nisyatmika antakarana vrittihi buddhi. Sankalpa vikalpatmika antakarana vritti mana. These are the 2 definitions. For your convenience, I shall explain. Mind is nothing but the mental impressions functioning as doubts or understanding. Is it pillar? Is a human being? Mind is functioning. You come to a conclusion, it is a pillar, not a human being. Buddhi, intellect is functioning. You come to a definite conclusion as to what the object is. Now, at the 3rd stage, you may remember, this is the pillar which I saw last night. You identify yourself as the one who has seen the pillar, or you identify the pillar as the object which you have seen the previous night. Your aham, this particular impression is functioning. Now again, later you have memory of seeing this pillar in front of you. This experience registers itself as an impression somewhere in a corner of our mind. At this level, the impressions are called chitta. These are the 4 types of operations of human impressions. That is, these 4 constitute the last 4 modes of this individual. So, at the macro level, the sun is the eye of the cosmic person. The celestial regions are the heads. Ether, the space, is the middle part of the body. And air is the vital air, etc. At the macro level, with regard to the cosmic person. At the micro level, for the individual, the 5 senses of perception, the 5 senses of action, and the 5 types of operation of the air, pancha pranas, plus mana, buddhi, chitta and ahankara. As I explained last time, the 4 levels of the function of impressions. This is how we live in this world. Human life is nothing other than a combination of these 19. That is what it is called. In other scriptures, the Vedantic scriptures make another point. What is human life? Human life is nothing but a continuation through the wheel of life, death and rebirth, using a vehicle which consists of these 19 principles. That is, Panchajnanendriyas means 5 senses of perception, 5 senses of action, Panchakarmendriyas, Panchapranas, 5 vital air, plus mana, buddhi, chitta and ahankara. I have already explained. Sometimes, of course, it is called sukshma sharira, sometimes called subtle body. Sometimes buddhi and mind. Mind and intellect alone are mentioned. Sometimes it's called 17 mouths. But the other 2 are also included. So this is what human being is. At the micro level, we travel through the cycle of life, actions, death, rebirth, and again continuing this game of life. And we use a vehicle, something like a motor car. And this vehicle consists of the 17 parts. So now, this is at the micro level, at the individual level. It is, in fact, non-different, non-distinct from the cosmic phenomena. That means what is within us is the same as what is without us. What is outside and what is within are the same. As Swamiji said, the microcosm and macrocosm are built on the same plan. That is, in essence, the central theme of this Upanishad. Now, there are a few more points to be explained with regard to this mantra. Jagridasthano Bahishprajnah. Now, as I explained, in waking, Jagridasthana means in waking state, the experiencer, the Turiya, the Atma, functioning as seer or witness in waking state. It sees external objects. It is oriented towards external objects. Bahishprajna means it is oriented towards external experiences. And it has got these 7 limbs at the macro level, at the cosmic level, and 19 mouths at the individual level. This is the first experience, and this waking state experiencer is the first stage, because from waking state only we go to dream state. Dream state, in fact, we are in waking state, we are preparing a background for dream. If you see a nightmare, it's because you had a very unpleasant, frightening experience somewhere, sometime in the past, in waking states. Or you have a blissful experience because you have prepared a background sometime, somewhere in the past, if not in this life, in the previous life. So, waking state is the first stage of experience. That's why it is called Prathama Pada, means the first quarter. Okay. Last time I got a small notice. One of our friends, devotees, requested me to give you time for asking some questions at the end of the class or maybe once a week or at the end of 4 or 5 classes every week. It's left to you. If you have got anything to ask on what I have explained today, you can ask. I don't think anybody would have any doubt. But if you are not very clear as to what you would like to ask, you can ask after 4 or 5 classes. It's left to you. If you have got anything to ask right now, you can ask. Otherwise, I shall conclude right now. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.